when they come to second grade, we're not at the level of reading where we should be. That's just how it is now. But a lot of those students knew numbers, but they were so scared to do things. And I used to be the teacher who would have all the little rhymes of more on the floor, go next door, or telling you can only start in the ones place. And then you have to go to the tens place. Because that's how I was taught. You're a creature of, habit. And so then when I got into CGI, which I've said for the past 4 years, my name is Wykiesha Gonzales. I live in Lehigh Acres, Florida. And I came to the CGI conference because I finished 4 years of the CGI process and I wanted to learn a lot more. My principal, 4 years ago now at this point, told me about this new thing that Lee County was doing, partnering with FSU for CGI. She knows I love math and thinking about math in different ways. So she invited me to go. I went. At first I was like, okay, what is this? Like, you mean kids can really do this? In the training we saw, they put up some problems and they said, what grade level can this be for? And it was multiplication, and instantly we think of, when we put the vocabulary with it, oh, that's multiplication. That has to be 3 through 5. I don't teach that because I'm a second grade teacher. And then they showed a kindergarten kid what we would call traditionally multiplying, but they were using manipulatives. So I took the same kind of story problem back, and it was something like there were Jamie has 3 plates and she has 4 cookies on each plate. How many cookies does she have in all? So traditionally you would think, okay, that's 3 times 4. Okay. Well, I took it back to class. I just had the problem on the board and then I gave my kids manipulatives. One little boy in particular, I went to him and I learned through CGI, you don't interrupt with your thoughts. You let them explain. So he had his counters there. And there were cubes, and so there was 3 plates, 4 cookies, but he had 5. It was a group of 5, 5, and 5. So in my head, I'm instantly like, oh, that's 15. He does not understand. And he said, it's 12. And I'm like, okay, tell me what were you thinking? Like trying to use some of the jargon they use. So I said, tell me your thinking. He said, okay, so you see this one here? No, he said, there's 4 on this plate, 4 on this plate, and 4 on this plate. When you put it together, that's 12. And I was like, well, okay, it's 12, but can you tell me more about these cubes? And he said, oh, those are the plates. And I was mind blown because I didn't see a plate. But that wasn't my place to see it. That was his story. That was what made sense to him. And in that moment, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I'm sold, because he was one of my struggling students. He would not have been able to read that problem, but I read it to him and then boom, he got me the answer. And as a teacher before CGI, I would have walked around and said, he doesn't get it because I see 15. But then with CGI letting them explain themselves, then I was able to say, oh, okay, he gets it, because he told me what everything represented. He showed me where he got it from the problem, and he got the correct answer. I've always been like I guess you can say, a person who enjoys math in my adulthood. I did not like math when I was a child. When I was in 5th grade, I remember being embarrassed very, very badly because my teacher wanted me to learn multiplication facts just because they were on a piece of paper, and I couldn't remember that. I had to make songs. I had to make rhymes. I had to make it make sense to me. I used to make 10s, but when I was in school, we didn't learn make a 10. You just did what my teacher said do, and that was it. And I think when I got exposure to CGI, I then was like, oh, what I did make sense. I was right. And other kids are right too. CGI is doing math in a way that makes sense to you. So I think if anybody has the chance to try CGI, I would say it's not a new thing. Like a lot of people think, oh, this is another new thing that they're pumping out there. It's not a new thing. And it's a way of thinking. that allows other people to think as well. So the one thing that I would say is just give it a try. Like, give it a try, let go, and then see what happens.